Stephen A., if you're in the middle of a long-term deal and you get to play where you want to play, forgive me for not being overly sympathetic that your reputation takes a little bit of hit if, as Draymond admits, you dogged it in order to get traded.
Well, first of all, listen, I think you missed the boat here, and I'm pretty surprised that you missed the boat because you usually don't miss the boat on issues such as this nature. Now, I'll blame it to some degree on somewhat convoluted Draymond Green was or how he came across, because it wasn't as clear to some people as it was to maybe somebody like me. But I understood exactly where he was coming from, and I completely agree with Draymond Green. And here's the reason why. Draymond Green, is talking about not just the optics, but the vitriol accorded to players that teams don't necessarily get. And that's unfavorable treatment in the direction of players. That's what he was alluding to. A team that wants the Detroit Pistons come out and announce they're trying to move Blake Griffin. So guess what? They're probably going to sit him down before they make a move. No problem. The Cleveland Cavaliers decided with Andre Drummond. No problem. But James Harden wants out, and he's vilified. Other players might want out, and they're vilified. It's only when it's in concert with the team they represent that everybody's okay with it. But if a team sits up there and says, we don't want you, we don't give a damn about you, they don't get crucified, they don't get vilified, they don't get held accountable in a court of public opinion. And so even though we somewhat understand that, because a team is entirely different than an individual, and the shrapnel of criticism that they're capable of absorbing is significantly more, per se, than an individual player, what Draymond Green as an individual player is pointing out, particularly in this day and time, black men who to some degree are empowered, whether directly or indirectly, and as a result, society as a whole resenting that the second they flex and exercise whatever level of power that they may have to get what they want, society turns against them. They call them malcontents, they call them problem children, they call them prima donnas, they excoriate them, etc., etc. And what Draymond is saying is, where's that same vitriol? Where's that same intensity when it comes to a team electing, in Andre Drummond's case, just to highlight and illuminate this discussion? You decide you don't want him. He's scheduled to play in the game. He leaves the bench, goes in the locker room, comes back outside in street clothes because you said, guess what? We want to focus on Jared Allen. That's going to compromise your minutes. As a result, you're probably not going to be here. So guess what? Not only do you not play, but you have to sit on the bench in street clothes until we say otherwise. That's kind of humiliating. Yeah. I mean, just let him go home. Let him relax. Let him chill out, like Detroit evidently is doing with Blake Griffin until you make a move. For him to sit on a bench in street clothes when he's perfectly healthy, averaging what he's averaging, 15 points, 13 rebounds a game, etc. He's not a scrub. This is not a dude that's not healthy. This is not a dude that's not ready to play. Why didn't you play him? And if you're not going to play him, let him go home. But to have him come on the bench, sit there in street clothes, and all under the guise of professionalism because we're in this together and we're going to move you, etc., it still makes you look bad. It subjects you to a level of embarrassment, as Draymond Green pointed out, that's completely unnecessary. And if a player decides, guess what, I don't want to play. Think about it. Put it to you this way, Max. What if James Harden or even Andre Drummond or Blake Griffin sat up there and literally said, I want out. So I'm going to be with the team, and I'm going to sit on the bench, but I'm not playing because I want out of here. Everybody would have lost their damn mind. Who the hell does that player think he is? But the team can do it, and it's not a problem. That's what Draymond Green was trying to explain. And that's not really about the teams. It's not really about the players. It's really about us as the fourth estate, as members of the media, as individuals who disseminate a commentary and punditry about a particular player, whatever. He's like, where's the consistency? And I think Draymond Green makes a very, very valid point when he says that. Because there isn't consistency when it comes to the players.
I mean, Stephen A., I think you opened up a whole can of worms, like a whole slew of issues to discuss.
What I do.
But I would say, first of all, let's start with the fourth estate to begin with. You know, we are the fourth estate. When you talk about the most influential sports talk shows, you know, first, here we are on First Take. you're defending Draymond's point of view.
Absolutely.
When James Harden wanted to be traded, I got on TV and told the Rockets, you're going to have to trade him. Don't drag this out. Let's not be foolish. James Harden's going to get what he wants. You know, I wouldn't say that the Fourth Estate has fallen down and simply excoriated the players and not held the teams accountable.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.